Got Ollie and Martin from Shape Changers and the Auto Planner. We're in a new location today. We're with Podcast Rentals, testing out their brand new studios. Going to give it a little trial and see how we get on. Obviously, it's a better environment, better scenario.
Yeah, it's swaggy, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
I'm into it.
It's not got a microphone like glued to a window. Probably some better sound quality. Anyway, what are the topics we're going to be discussing today?
Top we are straight away. We've got to be Auto Planner on it and get on with dieting.
Yeah?
Yeah, dieting's simple, innit? But until people start dieting and then realise it's extremely difficult.
You say it's simple, don't you? You would think it's simple. So obviously what we built the Auto Planner for, specifically what it is, to help people lose weight, help people gain weight, but take out the confusion, so the complex theories that people have surrounding nutrition. You actually initiated the build of the calorie banking feature.
Yeah, calorie banking's a few.
Yeah,
I think it just suits a lot of people's lifestyles, don't they? Dieting through the week for a lot of people is easy when you've got routine, you've got work, you get up, you have your breakfast, you go to work, you have your middle of the day meal, and you get home and you have your evening meal.
You mean dinner, don't you?
Yeah, but then on a weekend, without routine, it's a bit harder to stick to it, isn't it? So
yeah,
for me especially, I find it easy, like set days at work, eat this at this time, this at this time, and on a weekend, a bit relaxed. A lot of us, it's time with the family or whatever, innit? And you might want breakfast in bed, or you might want to go out for a nice middle of the day meal.
You mean dinner, don't you?
No.
When you come out of your 9 to 5 routine, so your working style, and then you go into the weekend, obviously you slip from form of routine. Yeah. That's why it comes in favour to adjust your calories. So you're no longer just working on your 2,000 from Monday to Sunday. You go from like 1950 Monday to Friday, and then 2,050 each day. I've just stole 50 from each day. Quick maths. Obviously, it's more calculated than that, but yeah. When you said earlier about dieting simple, literally 2 or 3 days ago, I was having a conversation with a client who was specifically looking to gain weight. And when you start talking about diet, you assume that most people know the basics, so calories, carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Now, this client obviously reached out and said they wanted to gain weight, so I asked them what they're doing, and from that point on, like, my mind was blown, because I was like, right, so we need to get you into a calorie surplus. Oh, well, what's that mean? So I'm explaining, that means you have to have additional calories from your maintenance to gain weight. Well, how do I find my maintenance? I'm like, oh, you haven't even done your calories yet. No, I don't even know what calories are. And you're like, oh, right. In this day and age where there is every single person out there speaking specifically on, all the social media platforms about calories in, calories out, energy balance.
Yeah.
And you've still got people who go, what's a calorie? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a complex minefield, though, isn't it? It's, like you say, it is simple to us. But when you're getting into it, it's not. Yeah, even just things like, I noticed the other day, I was just looking at the calorie content of some food on packaging. I noticed the recommended daily allowance.
Yeah.
And the recommended daily allowance of fat is higher than your recommended daily allowance of protein.
What,
so
in calories?
Yeah, when it says like the average male should have like 2,000 calories and it should have like this amount of protein and this amount of fats. The recommended daily allowance of fats was higher than how much protein you should have. So you should have more calories in fat than you should have in protein, is what is the recommended daily allowance on a national scale.
Yeah,
on
so
every item of food packaging, and you look at that every day.
Yeah.
And you're starting to live to that, you're not going to achieve the same things that we're aiming to achieve.
No. Obviously, we look at the government guidelines so they're on the packaging, that's the government guidelines. Yeah. We're lucky in this country that we do have a awareness surrounding calories in total, because quite a lot of countries don't even acknowledge it. So in this country we do, but then the breakdown is not as accurate as, we've seen them demonising salt and demonising sugar to the point that like people are terrified of having either. So we know that they're not 100% there with their advice. They relay everything they hear from the World Health Organization, but it's still a grey area on the accuracy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess that causes confusion, but if they still focus on the overall so if they just focus on the calories without breaking down the macronutrients, they'll be on the right path. So if they did...
in that respect, a calorie is a calorie, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then when you get to a certain level, that isn't going to get you where you want to be, is it?
No. Oh yeah, when you're fine-tuning things, so when you're looking to create so obviously this is where the level of information sort of increases as the person's progresses, is that right? So if you're just starting out, focusing on calories, perfect. Focus on that and you'll see the results. But then when you've spent so many months doing that, and now's the time to fine tune it, you would then look at the breakdown. You would start improving your protein intake, and then, like you say, looking at your fat overall.
Yeah, because you've got to be realistic with your starting point, and something you mentioned earlier, being optimal.
Yes.
Like, to get your starting point is what you're going to stick to, isn't it? Your starting point is what you can stick to comfortably during the day, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then if you want to make it more optimal, you're going to want to increase your protein, reduce something else as you adjust, and your body needs to adapt in the way you want it to look how you want. But it doesn't necessarily have to be your starting point, does it?
No, not at all. See, optimal is a really good point of conversation. I see where this was going now.
Yeah.
So optimal for me is obviously optimal for the person. So if someone came out and told you this is the absolute most perfect diet that you can have in the world, and you tried to do it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's optimal for you, because if, like, your lifestyle or, you know, ability, so if you've got any injuries or restrictions for whatever, then no, and then it also creates this like bad mindset that, well, if I can't do what's optimal, I can't do what's needed. When really optimal means taking that information and creating the best for you. So you're taking, you know, obviously we know full well we should be eating more fruits, more vegetables, lean cuts of meat and fish and stuff like this. But if you can't do that every single day, and that's the only optimal way, you start falling into the, well, I can't achieve it because of this, which we've covered multiple times, but now the word optimal is getting put in there to create this superpower of what's achievable and what's not for people.
Yeah, because as I keep seeing things of, work out what's optimal for your metabolic type.
Yeah.
And I read it and I just think, nah, no, don't do this to me.
Why would you do this?
Your metabolic type. And you know, people are like, oh yeah, that's what I need to do, because like I don't lose weight if I eat carbs. You would if you did it right. But you haven't tried properly, or you've had the wrong guidance to start. Because a lot of people are paying people to get guidance that isn't right.
Yes.
But you don't realise because you don't know.
Well, the reason people demonise carbohydrates is because obviously we retain water. So every time you eat 1 gram of carbohydrates, you have 2.3 to 3.2 or whatever in between. So 3 grams of water that binds to that carbohydrate. So instantly they look at the scales and go, well, I had chips last night and I've put on X amount of weight. So for that illusion, instead of understanding that they've now just rehydrated the muscles and are actually in a really powerful position for, you know, lifting weights, they haven't gained any body fat, they just gained glycogen and water.
Yeah.
But the fear of carbohydrates comes from that, doesn't it?
There's another thing in it with where get bulking, cutting anything. You don't get too focused on weight. Like, I've gained weight, I've lost weight. Like, weight is just.
Yeah.
What would you say?
It's the lowest form of measurement. It's the lowest form of tracking. It's a simplistic form we can use, which we can use every single day if we need to, which we don't recommend, but you can still use it every single day. But people idolise it. It's the lowest form of data.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's a measurement within measurements. So if you're taking someone's photos, you're taking their weight, taking their measurements, and if you were going down the level of body fat measurements as well, so you caliper in their fats, you would then be able to use all of those accurately to get the picture whether you have gained fat or you've gained weight. But people just take the lowest form, which is body weight, and panic.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are too short-sighted. The journey's infinite, innit? Everyone's thinking, right, I need to have lost this much weight by this time, when really you don't want to be looking like over the next month or 6 weeks. You want to be looking over the next 2 years.
The big picture, yeah.
And look where you started and where you are now. As well with diet, I think a lot of people need to be doing that with the gym.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are forcing progressive overload at the minute.
Yeah.
And it's not a week-on-week thing. You don't need to go in every week, do you, and go like, right, I need to beat what I did last week. Because anything, like, you might not have slept as good.
Yeah.
You might not be as hydrated.
Oh, yeah, there's a reason
like
for failure in
of
your
things,
lifts. If you haven't got to absolute failure, there's other reasons which might contribute to that failure.
Yeah, it might be like you could have started the year on being able to bench 60 kilo and get to the end of the year and do 70.
Yeah.
Whereas some people are like aiming to do like, no, I want to do 70 next week.
Well,
and the week after I want to do 80 and that. But it's such a bigger picture than people give it credit for.
They've got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This is how, again, without naming any supplementation who prey on people around this time of year, there are certain supplementation who jump on that quick fix, that shortcut, because knowing full well that people are looking for they're looking for like 10 kilo loss in 4 days. And if a product can help do that, not through its actual scientific proven results, just through making the person eat less calories and have this for whatever time, nothing sustainable, just for that short term, then that creates this bond that people have with that product. So they go, yeah, well, I tried it does work because I lost 10 kilos in 4 days. You might have put 12 kilo back on since, following the plan, but for that initial period, I'm a big fan now because it worked.
Yeah. You can, if you want to make drastic losses just to beat the scales, it is not actually that difficult, is it?
No. Well, people hide from it as well, don't they?
Yeah.
They instead of holding themselves accountable for, let's say, social periods, days out, whatever, when they know full well the scales are going to go up on their next weigh-in, they'll avoid that weigh-in.
Yeah, and get into case in the trap of beat the scales.
Yeah, when really.
Well, yeah, and it's again.
Falsifying data.
Yeah, you're falsifying data, and like you want in your graph to have a nice, pretty descent, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you can show people and go, look how well I did. But like each spike, it tells a story, doesn't it? You go, oh yeah, that was the weekend that I went away for this.
Yeah.
Still weigh on that same day, because if you're doing everything right, that is going to be irrelevant in 2 weeks.
In fact, it serves a purpose of like reassuring you that, oh, I didn't gain fat then because my weight 3 weeks after is back to where it was and below.
Yeah, you just go, oh look how well hydrated I was there.
Yeah, that spike period should actually reassure the client into understanding that they've gone up on the scales, but still made progress over the following weeks that followed. So it wasn't fat gain; it was just through my diet, my change of routine.
Like say you do your weigh-in every Sunday, but you want to start having your off-plan meal on your Saturday because it fits your life. Still do your weigh-in on Sunday, because if that's how you live your routine, eventually the graph is still going to be going down, even with the Sunday spike. Yeah. Yeah, so in the long picture, you're still going to have the same graph going down, even with them spikes. And the, what's it called? Moving average.
Yeah, your trend line, yeah.
Trend line.
Yeah. So
trend line.
Trend. Yeah, so...
Exactly, if you're going to stick to it as long as you make
the
it out,
variables are the same.
It's not an issue.
Don't adjust your variables to create a better outcome, because you're creating a false illusion again. You're falsifying the data. Just stick to, if you set off on the start and you was doing Sunday, 8 a.m. post toilet routine, whatever. Just keep it to that. Whether your lifestyle surrounding those days changes. Yeah. Unless all of a sudden you've got like a night shift and you're working that night shift every Sunday now, then you would just adjust your date and make note of the date that you changed it from, and go from that period onwards for you to continue your scale.
Yeah, because people they get themselves involved in an irrelevant battle.
Yeah.
Like if the scales have gone up, it's only the individual himself who cares, isn't it? I've fallen for it myself. Where you think, oh, I've gone up, boo-hoo. And then you think, oh, no, I don't. Oh, but it doesn't matter, because if you carry on, you'll be where you need to be a bit later. And the only person who actually gave a fuck was yourself, innit?
Mm-hmm.
No one else has seen that and gone, oh, he's done.
Yeah, literally nobody at all.
Yeah, he's ruined it.
It's one of the reasons why on the auto planner I'm trying to get a feature built for the chart. So you can highlight the date, so when you see a spike or a drop significant, you will then be able to just click on it and leave a note. So you can leave a note that this is the day we went away to a hotel, me and the missus or whatever. Or this is the day that we went to the fairground with the kids. Whatever, anything that might cause a change in normality. So in 6 months, when you look back and go, what caused that spike in March? You just click on it and you'll go, oh yeah, that's when we went away.
Not even just for that, it'd be good for... when you do see a nice trend line, you can just put exactly what diet and how much water you was having during that.
Yeah, you could make a note on anything, so it can be as long as you want. So if you wanted to be like, I've got this saved plan. This is a saved plan I was using at this time. Yeah. So you can create, because obviously data collection through your results and progress is important, and it's easily lost as well. Like, if you are keeping a physical,
I can look back and like see, I lost weight here, and I think, how many calories was I having? Don't know.
Yeah.
What training was I doing? Can't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
What was I eating? Food.
The only data you would have is your notes and your weight. So if you could then come back and tie it all together and sync it all together and be like, at this time I was coming in measurements with this, my weight was this, my work routine was this, and this is the diet I was having, and I was nailing it every week to the recommended weight loss. That's vital information, isn't it, that you might want to refer to in the future.
Yeah, that's a banging idea.
Yeah, Well, I didn't think of that little bit extra until you just said it, so
Yeah.
just took and...
Well, it is easy. You know, when people say, oh, you had this diet before and it was really good, what sort of thing did you have? Well, don't really remember.
Yeah.
I drink a gallon of water.
Yeah, it'd be good, because then I can create just little fields where it says protein, calories, fats, carbs, so you can just dash them in from there, or it can probably pull them itself if you needed to, like weekly totals as opposed to...
Yeah.
So you've got your weekly totals, and then diet plan, and just name it whatever, like, I was following plan C, whatever,
Yeah.
if you needed to, for reference. And then you could always go back to your saved plans and look at what that one was at the time.
Yeah. Because you also got when people go, oh yeah, I was eating this and this and this at the time. Look, I can show you, and it worked. You're like, no, it didn't though, because look where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
Yeah.
If it worked, why are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, innit? That's a lot of people. I did this diet before and I lost some good weight, but I'm back where I was before I started the diet.
Yeah. Although they forget that part. Like we're saying with the supplementation, they'll just jump on it and be like, no, it really worked for that moment in time. Yeah. Anything works for that moment in time, especially if your mindset is like, right, I'm going to give this a good go. I'm going to do it because I've just spent £100 buying it. Yeah. I bought this supplement, so I'm going to do it. That, like, each one of them brings a different factor.
Companies like that, if they were as good as they make out, they wouldn't need to keep advertising because the return customer.
Oh yeah,
keep them in business.
If the product was that real and that thing, everyone would be. You wouldn't need to advertise.
Like, why would
they'd be struggling to stock it.
Yeah, why would I come off this? This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Instead of like, yeah, that did what I needed. I beat the scales from a holiday, and I just need to do that again.
Yeah.
Even that dieting for holidays, I don't get it. Go on your holiday and enjoy it. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You diet just and then you go and you're like, I just want to make sure I look good for photos. Like, why? Just go enjoy yourself. And then when you get back, diet after it.
You know why? It's the illusion that in that week's holiday they will create the damage of 6 months. So like the 6 months that they've done prior, like getting into shape, they believe that 1 week they will manage to put themselves right back to the start. So they then focus, like even dieting on holiday and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you've booked time away. If you're taking time off work, you're taking time off this and you're taking time off that, just take time off your diet as well. It doesn't necessarily need to be a full blown. It needs to be just, I'm relaxing, I'm going to enjoy this and I'm going to enjoy that. I'm not going to track things, because you might be better in tune with how well you're doing anyway, so you might actually just still be in a deficit, or you might sit around maintenance naturally because you've been in a deficit for X amount of months. You then have a natural understanding of what you should be eating, the amounts you should be eating. In fact, when you've been dieting for quite a long time, apart from you, it gets quite hard to overeat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. When I first started eating, say junk food, it just tastes like hot water and salt.
Yeah.
Like cakes just taste like pure sugar. It takes a minute to adapt to it again, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you eat it and you think, why did I used to eat this kind of stuff? This is horrible. And a week later, that's all you eat, and you think, yes, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Like, I can feel it. It makes me feel so sluggish and lethargic, and I can't be asked to move. So I'll have another one of them delivered to my door.
Literally every single person I know who comes off a diet for a while and then decides to have a takeaway, they all say, I ordered pizza last night. It was really shit. It was disappointing. Never do they say, honestly, best thing, so it's made it 10 times harder for me because now I remember how good that tastes. They never say that. They're always like, no, it tasted shit. But soon you overcome that because it's the convenience, isn't it? It's the
but a lot now that dieting's changed. Now that dieting's changed and people are actually eating stuff with flavour and whatever. Before, when everyone just had chicken, rice and broccoli, you can understand why everyone wanted that cheat meal and to have something extra. But now that you can actually realise you can eat burger and chips or a pizza every night and still be dieting, it's
Did you hear that? Now that you can fucking need to be putting that out, because still people telling me, oh Martin, I'm getting back on the diet, look, sending me a photo of your food and I'm looking at it going, I'm eating rice, just chicken and rice. I don't care if you like chicken and rice, that's great, but there is far more to it than chicken and rice.
Like when I've had people ask me in the past and they're like, oh, what did you eat to lose weight then? I'm like, oh, just like every night I had homemade pizza and half a tub of ice cream. Like, no, honestly. Like, yeah. Halo top ice cream's amazing. You can have half a tub of it with no problem. And if you make a homemade pizza where you just got like Greek yogurt and flour as a base, you can chuck nearly anything on it and you're away, aren't you?
Yeah. We should have brought your charts with us.
They're all over.
That chart where you went away for... Yeah, I think you only went for a few days, didn't you? Didn't you go...
1 night, 2 days.
Yeah, 10 kilos. Yeah. That on its own, though, is enough to show people that...
Yeah.
Because the following weeks you were back to where you were.
Yeah, I'll be doing it again next week. I'll be at Centre Park, so I won't be tracking anything. I'm just going to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when you see people going on holiday and that, like, oh, you can still diet when you're on holiday. Stop
Got
it.
the Tupperware.
Just, enjoy yourself.
Finally sliced chicken breast into really dry, boring rice while trying to enjoy your holiday. That is not right, is it?
Oh, when people like they're out and about with their mates, like bodybuilder life, cut the Tupperware. Like, just wait till you get home. Don't cause a scene.
It's the same as when you're at comps, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You see the guys at a show, and they're carrying all of the Tupperware, and they're being very specific. You know, it's all there, and they don't even place. But, like, with all due respect to them, like there's people who do place carrying a Tupperware and everything, but they've gone through they've dragged themselves through hell and they took it right up until the last day.
Yeah.
And they're still sat there miserable eating their thing like to a schedule to the minute. I understand like having carbohydrates pre-stage, sorry, but this is to the point of like depression, and they're sat there.
They're not enjoying the process.
No. And the whole point is, there's another thing I wanted to touch upon actually that we haven't ever spoke about is people assuming that a competition needs to be won. So when you enter your first comp, if you don't win it, you didn't do well.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky in my mindset where I don't feel like I'm really competitive, and I really enjoy bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So I do it because I want to enjoy the whole thing, and I act that ass about placing. Obviously, if I do, amazing, buzzing.
To me, if you went to your first show and you cleaned up, I mean, obviously it's great, like well done and everything, but the calibre of competition can't have been there. What did you learn along the process that was that easy for you to walk in and clear up? It doesn't want to be. I know it wants to be a learning curve. You want to gain the experience. Like, you want to be terrible at your routine. You want to be, struggling on stage and not as lean as you want. You want to be going through all of that.
You want something to beat, don't you?
Yeah, you want to go back next time and say, oh, I want better glutes this time round, or my hammy's worked through, or...
I think that same thing holds a lot of people back from doing the first time.
Yeah.
I just think people, if you want to do it, just do it. Don't think I need to be bigger. I'm not ready yet. Even if you're not big enough, you're not ready. Just go do it. Experience it before you've put another 4 years into it, and then you experience it and realise you hate it.
Yeah.
And just turn up. Even if you do terrible and you look like you've never been to a gym in your life, everyone's still going to say, well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You're the only person who's going to be disappointed is yourself, but afterwards you won't be disappointed. You'll be proud you did it.
It's everyone, even your haters, will look through them photos and be like, I wish I'd done it, I couldn't do it. Yeah. I can't do what he's just done.
Yeah.
They'll tell everyone they're going to do it every single year though. That's a classic that. Competing this year. Oh yeah, all right, good luck with that. Yeah. Because I know you're not.
Well, like you see people and I'm guilty of it myself, where you see people and you think, I don't think you're ready for stage, and then they do it anyway, and you're like, hats off to you for doing it, because getting on stage, when you're in the shape of your life, getting on stage isn't as daunting as when you know you could be better. Yeah. When you know you could be better, you just stand there and just think, I shouldn't be here. Yeah. But when you're there and you're in the shape of your life and you go on and you get a loss, you just think, yeah, all right, they were better. They were better.
Yeah, as simple as that.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of it is down to interpretation. It's an art, really, isn't it? It's weird that you can have a competition over art, really.
Yeah, well, it really is art, though, isn't it? Because, and it's specific to what the judges themselves are looking for. Each federation look for something different. Yeah. So you might go in with the strongest looking glutes on the day and think you've nailed it, and they'll be like, "No, I conditioned too much, so we won't look at someone over conditioned." Yeah. But then you'll enter the next federation, and they'll be like, "You didn't come in sharp enough."
Yeah. It is. It's a strange thing. So even if you do lose, don't be hard on yourself. You just might not have been what they like that day. Yeah. It is down. I don't know. It's not like a dive or a run. It doesn't matter who gets over the line first. It's literally what the judges want to see in it. Yeah. Yeah. There
are certain key focuses, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
You need to have...
But like the three people can all be... Say this guy can be at 100 kilo, 3% body fat. Stupid numbers, I know. And this guy can be the same. But there's no way they're going to be the same package. No. No, they're going to look completely different. Even if they train the same, eat the same, do all the same poses, they're never going to look the same. And even though they've took exactly the same stats and figures, if you didn't look, you'd just think, draw. Yeah. But to then visually look at them, it's down to, say, 5 judges, 3 of them like this guy, 2 like that. Yeah. This guy's one. Even though on paper is the same thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the interpretation comes into it.
Because like you can see some bodybuilders, can't you? And people go, "Oh, this guy's ace," and you look at the size of him, and you look at him and go, "To me, I don't find the aesthetics of him massively nice." Yeah. A lot of it was like Phil Heath, Kai Green. A lot of people, Kai Green should beat him. He's bigger, isn't he? Like Phil Heath, just everything just flows nice. His muscle bellies are perfect. His pose and everything. He was a bit arrogant on stage, but when he was doing really well, it kind of complemented his shape, didn't it? But
I think that also complements to the wins as well, though. Like, the arrogance and stuff brings the I deserve to win alongside of it.
Yeah.
There's other reasons why Kai Green didn't win and probably wouldn't
yeah. But like I just found his muscles too blocky. His muscle bellies were as aesthetically pleasing to me as Phil Heath.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's people
Sorry, it also brought into the moody side of him as well. Like there was always the tantrums and always So then it almost like people will vote based upon previous, even though they're not supposed to. It's what you bring on the day, but the mood swings and kicking off for not winning. Yeah. But yeah, when you look at it on paper,
because then I think even after Kai Green, Phil Heath, Big Ramy won it. People like Big Ramy should have won. Look at the size of him. Irrelevant though, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, like you say, it's what the judges are looking for, the interpretation, what they've got on their day as their perfect picture of the trophy holder for that category. Yeah.
So to think you're going to turn up and you're going to be the best, it's going to be impossible. You never know who is going to turn up.
There's always been shocks, aren't there? Like, whoa, he should have took that. And then when you look
there's the other side, though, isn't there, where you look at people's photos, you think, can't believe I'm against him, and you turn up, you're like, where's the rest of you?
Yeah.
That photo you took in your hotel room, you looked amazing. Like.
Especially when you find them post-comp as well. So you didn't know anything while you was on stage against them, and you're eyeing them up. I mean, from my point as a coach as well, looking, and we're already trying to find out where you're positioned and where they've moved you around. And then you go look at the competition, go pull them up on Instagram or social media, and you go, "That's not the same guy. This is his story. 24 hours out, and he looks cut like he's shredded. And on stage, he's not. It's like handpicking the perfect photo to create that illusion."
Yeah, but that's another thing, and all, isn't it? You might 24 hours out, you might look like the winner, and then on stage, you might get in your own head, and you might just stress yourself out, and it could ruin your physique. You might just have something that disagrees with you. You might anything, and it might be too hot, might be too cold.
Some people have had to pull out of shows early for being ready too soon.
You're all right then.
Yeah, just a slight bit of anger in there, because if you're ready too soon,
you get ready too soon. Oh god, I don't want to be too peeled.
Oh, well done. I've done too well. It's unfair on the competition if I turn up, so I might as well just pull out.
Yeah, and there is a lot of people who just don't make it for whatever reason, though.
Yeah.
The amount of times you turn up and you're like, oh, there's 6 on stage with me, and you turn, and then you get there and it's like 2 didn't make it.
Even people that have left in the show when they're going into a second category.
Yeah.
I've seen them supposed to be in the second category and they don't turn up, and you go, well, you was here a minute ago, where you gone now? Yeah.
But then some people know you to turn up and you might have no competition.
Yeah.
Like UK Ultimate Physiques, there was quite a few where it was just like one person in each category, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, ideal for a beginner. Oh no, it's probably worse, isn't it? It's probably worse for a beginner to turn up and be the only one on stage.
I prefer a busier stage.
Yeah, at least then, if you didn't come in too well, you're... at least if you did come in really well, you're at least getting compared. Yeah. So, and you can compare yourself as well and sit looking at other guy or whatever and say, yeah, he did win me. He looked better here or there, or why did he win me? And compare yourself. Yeah,
but with a comparison and people's mindset, people's mindsets are very strange, aren't they? Across with diet and training and that. Some people are very confident, think they've done amazing and all that, and you look at them and you think, not really. And then there's other people who hate themselves and always trying harder and harder to do better, and you look at them and you think,
you can't.
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
But that comes into body dysmorphia again, which we spoke about on the other podcast. Yeah. But what's the opposite to body dysmorphia?
True.
That's the reverse of it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of them sports, isn't it, where it's going to be critical. It's going to find it hard work.
But that's the whole point of it, isn't it? To be critical. Yeah,
so just go for it. Don't put 20 cents. Don't think you've got to be champion. Don't think you need to dig into the trenches. As hard as you can, without ruining your life.
Well, unfortunately, some of them die in the trenches, don't they? They do. They get stuck in the trenches, and it's that hard for them that they can't progress to where they actually put the dream. So they wanted to go. They wanted to do the stage appearance. They wanted to walk on stage and do the whole routine, but they get themselves stuck in the trenches before the battle. Yeah. Didn't even mean to get all cliche, but also, they believe that they've got to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, when really not turning up was the biggest failure. Surely
Yeah.
turning up slightly not as conditioned would have been more success for them. They would have managed the dream.
It's another one of them make it too hard for themselves with bland food.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, bodybuilder life. You're like, that's the bodybuilder life you've chosen.
Yeah.
There is better ways to be doing it. You maybe need a different coach, or you need to be more educated on food.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to be having that horrible plain.
Need to drop your biases, because a lot of people are biased to the old beliefs. So they believe that so-and-so is giving me this advice and that can't be right, because in my head, this is what I know to work. So they become biased to their old beliefs. So they then stick to their old beliefs and say, nah, that guy don't know. What would he know?
Yeah.
So my way is the best way. I've seen 10 other bodybuilders do it this way. But like comparing yourself to that older bodybuilder with science at a different level and statistically a different guy completely, genetically a different guy completely, is like I said before, comparing apples and pears. You're nothing like that other person. Your lifestyle is completely different. You can take a different approach and probably get further. So if you're looking at it, following this other guy, and he made it 100%, which let's say is from stage and in condition, that is 100% achieved. But you're copying his way, you can only manage 60%, well then it's inefficient for you, isn't it? So if you can change up a few things, so let's just say removing some of the lean cuts of meat and swapping it for a not so much recommended protein bar, if that works for you and you find that easier to do and you make it to 80%, well then we've found a way to become less optimal but more optimal for you.
Yeah.
So you've become more efficient, but technically it's inefficient compared to your old beliefs. So if you can drop the bias, be teachable, learn new ways and figure out a way that'll work for you, it'll create better results for you, because it might take you a little bit longer as well. It might take, an extra 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, because technically there's a few more calories and whatever. Things are mixed up a little bit because of this protein bar, as an example. It might take longer, but you'll get there because you found what was limiting you before, the boring food, the inability to push through when you've got zero energy. They might be weakened off now, so you can then achieve what you were aiming to achieve.
Yeah, and that's not just for competition either, is it? That's for dieting in general.
I think it's life in general as well.
Yeah, when people are getting diets, or like, look how good this guy did off this diet. Like, what was his motivator though? You just want to be a bit healthier. You want to live longer. That guy wanted to be absolutely shredded, and that guy's motivation might be that he absolutely hated himself.
Yeah.
Yours is you just want to be able to get up from the floor a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. The variables are completely different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you compare it to paper, so again going back to the 80s bodybuilder who put his diet in Men's Health magazine, and you're looking at it and going, see this guy, that's who I want to look like. He's having this and this and this, so I need to have this and this and this. Just that variable on its own is a complete different outcome, isn't it? It's a different predictor of your goals. So if you're wanting to achieve it, but you haven't got the same reason for doing it, takes away the coal out of the engine, shall we say. You haven't got the motivation, drive, or whatever you want to call it. I don't like the word motivation because I feel it's massively overused.
Yeah, I know when you raise that kind of thing with people, like, well, that's how they all used to do it. Like, yeah, used to. Things have changed.
Yeah. And not all. They're the ones that you see who succeeded. So if we took the big picture and zoom out and you go, all of those did that.
Like, get a time machine and take Instagram to the 80s and see how many didn't make it.
There was probably 1 million more that didn't, and who followed the exact regime that's laid out there.
Yeah.
But because you only see the tunnel vision of the 10 premium bodybuilders who did make it, you assume that was why they all made it.
Yeah, when people just say, bodybuilders were just much better condition in the 90s, and you're like, how? I look at the photos and they're blurry.
Yeah. The camera wasn't even up to standard.
Yeah, when you see people now and like run up to Olympia and that, it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they're not as conditioned as...
Absolutely, yeah, you can tell just through the size of them.
When people are like, but Dorian Yates, that's one guy.
Yeah.
Name 5 more.
Yeah, now you're looking at it and there are literally an insane amount of people on that level.
Yeah.
He, like you say, he was a standout, so he was the one. He was the one of his kind. There weren't as many as there are at the same level now.
No, and bodybuilding is a very difficult sport on such a low level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you just want to have a go. You want to enter it. You've got a lot of competition. And now there's so many federations and so many people turning up. Whereas, 10 years ago, you wanted to do a show, you would struggle to find one, wouldn't you?
look at the quality of the PCA first timers. When you're looking at the insane quality, and some of them are winning it, and you're like, he was a first timer.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's a different ball game.
Yeah,
Everything's changed.
Levels are way above, and that becomes with science anyway. Progression of science, like what we knew back then, has developed, and it will continue to develop. What we're saying today, or what we've said previously, might be something that people laugh at in the future and be like, they can remember when they thought calories was the main predictor of their outcome.
Yeah, I'm like that with my training. Every training I was doing at the time, I was adamant was perfect.
Yeah.
And then like I'll stick to it for 4 months, and I'll have another go at something else, and I think, no, this is the one.
And do you know what's annoying? People for years have said, oh, there are millions of different diets, but you just need to find what works for you. And we've gone, just tell me the secret. Just tell me the secret. And then later on in life you go, yeah, there are many diets, but if you just find the one that works for you, and you're like, damn it, I'm back here again.
Yeah, back in the day, there's only a couple of people you get a diet off, couldn't you? And I think everyone who got a diet off this particular bloke was like, if you're losing weight, you need a tin of tuna and an apple.
Oh my word, I know exactly who you're referring to.
Your evening meal is chicken and broccoli.
I actually, obviously, once I become certified, went back to that old plan.
Did you?
And I just sat it down and broke it all down. And I was on something like 1,280 calories.
But you will have lost weight.
Yeah.
But did you stick to it very long?
Nah, I did not.
That's crazy.
I did like 8 weeks and thought, this is impossible. I am drained. I'm like literally asleep as soon as I woke up. I'm that tired. But science then dictated that was the best result. That was the best way to get results.
Yeah.
And when I questioned anything, it was like, no, you need to do this on or you won't achieve it. Again, It was so like definitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same. Tuna. I think I had to swap my tuna to mackerel in the end. That was the only allowed swap I was allowed, from tuna to mackerel.
Yeah, I wonder why I didn't stick to it. Crazy.
Yeah. Even just small things like if I'd forgot a tin opener on that day, my life fell apart because I couldn't open my tuna.
And what did you drink? Just water?
It was water, and I think I had some
green tea.
Green tea was my only other. Black coffee was allowed, I think, and I can't remember if I had BCAAs. I can't remember if they were on there or not.
Yeah, whereas now we're spoiled for choice on 0-calorie drinks, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Fantastic.
We're in a world where literally they've been gifted the best thing ever. You know, like your Pepsi Max. It just tricks you.
Yeah, but it's things like that do help massively, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it gives you the feeling of still having something that you probably not.
Apart from you, like one thing I have, you like skinny sauces, terrible. Yeah. Just have some normal sauce.
Yeah.
Like chuck 3 beans off your plate and have a bit of sauce.
Yeah, you can soon make back the amount that you save on having a shit replica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little things like that, innit? It was always people, you can't have cheese on your diet. You can. Yeah. You just accommodate for it.
Yeah.
Like, I think now, with freedom on diet, though, you've got to just not give yourself too much, have you? And you've got to work out where you're like, there are no bad foods, but just be reasonable. Yeah. It brings an awareness, or its job should be to bring an awareness, because although we preach the 0 restrictions, you are restricted because you're calorie restricted. That's the whole point. So there are restrictions. You're restricted on calories, but you're not restricted on food types and food choices. But if you don't learn fast, the higher calorie products like cheese, oils and stuff like that, mayonnaise,
your products with fat in, or high amounts of fat in, then quickly you would eat like a cheeseburger, and that's your full day's amount of calories. Yeah, just like a little thing for me, liking to have a sandwich, just drop the butter. Yeah, and you take you can make that sacrifice. Yeah, you can take like 80 calories out of it. Yeah, and then you can just add some of the reduced sugar ketchup. Yeah, you'd take about 80 calories out of it, still have your sandwich. Yeah, and it's just little things where like you can sacrifice it. Whereas still before I'd have thrown the whole sandwich away. Yeah. Can't eat bread. Classic that. Can't eat bread. What carbs? What's the best source of carbs to have? Hey. Don't even get me into that. Don't you do it. People are obsessed with that early on. I mean, when you are at an athletic performance level, it does have a place. It does hold weight. It is. Yeah, but to get started, something you should be fine tuning, but not for Deborah down the road who's 60 kilo overweight in body fat. Doesn't hold a place. And telling her to have maltodextrin or dextrose prior to a workout or intra-workout really has no benefit to her.
Yeah,
Just
that
telling her
goes
to have
back
one
to
sugar instead of two would be a beneficial start.
goes back to being optimal.
Yeah.
Don't over optimize for something you're not ready for.
Yeah, you're not at the stage where it needs to be optimal yet.
Yeah.
The girl that I referred to earlier who was looking to gain weight without the understanding of what a calorie surplus was, when she was asking what things she should be doing, so I asked her the food that she was having now and where she is at, and she was having her oats in the morning, and she said, do I just double the size of my oats? I said, well, no, you can increase it a little bit, but you'd be better off just having full sugar jam, honey or peanut butter in there, because you're not really changing anything in your day, but you're banging in another 70, 80 calories just in that moment. So she was like, oh, right, yeah. And I said, depending on when we've done your calculations to find out how far under, how far over you need to be or whatever, where you're at, 2 or 3 of those small changes in a day means your lifestyle doesn't change at all. Everything is the same, but the work is going in a less disruptive manner. So you're just changing, honey, putting honey or peanut butter in, and then you'll be adding, if you're used to having a black coffee because you thought it was a great choice, then we put some milk and a couple of sugars in. It tastes better for you. You was having that coffee anyway, and you're having additional calories. So it's a win-win. And then when you flip it back in the future, you just need to remove them again to get back into a deficit.
Yeah, because it's, like I say, is adapting. Adapt, don't fully change in it. When someone's like, right, I'm going to lose weight, so they just erase everything they've been eating, start fresh with stuff that they have to go to the shop for every day and they don't like eating, and then stop training how they were training and come up with a whole new training plan, and then they've got a whole new where they've got to eat 7 meals a day, and the training's like, I don't know, more reps.
Yeah.
You're like, you didn't need to do that.
Well, this is the illusion.
You could have just like not had the Snickers at lunch.
This is the illusion of throwing in excessive cardio for the answer to weight loss, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen a thing, I know it's completely irrelevant, but I seen a thing the other day. 1 burpee can burn half a calorie. Right. So I'd rather do like 1 deadlift.
Yeah.
But like you see things like that where you think,
I'd rather just have 1 less grain of sugar.
Yeah. Like there is a thing with cardiovascular health and fat burning. I don't know why it's always been such a thing that people put together. Whereas weight resistance training, everyone just thinks straight away build muscle. They don't actually see how many calories it will burn as a benefit to burn fat. But if you're on the bench and it tells you how many calories you're burning, it's the same as a treadmill would.
Yeah.
It might change it, might it?
Maybe. It's the illusion when you're running and sweating and working hard and your heart rate's up, that must be using body fat.
Yeah.
So.
But then as soon as you get off that treadmill, that's the only calories you're burning it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're lifting, you're burning them as you've left.
Burning, yeah, it's the feeling of exhausting themselves.
Even like things like Apple Watch. People go to the gym, will train, and it's told you what calories you're burning there, but it ain't telling you what you're burning afterwards. Yeah. And like you're looking at that number and you're thinking,
wrong anyway. They're miles out.
But you look at them and because of them and looking at what they've done and how many calories you burnt on the treadmill compared to on the bench, you assume that was a lot better. Yeah. But it obviously don't take into account your metabolic adaptation after training and recovery. If
they, that client used different brand of watch every single day and did the exact same workout, they would have a completely different reading on every single watch. Yeah. So how can you take that as a variable? How can you take that as a data? Because like one would say you burnt 57 calories, one would say you burnt 112, one would say you burnt 9. So like
you just get the one that tells you the most you burn.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, find the one that says you're burning the most and go with that one. That's how you base the purchase of your product. Yeah. In this society, that is how people would purchase, I think.
Yeah, but I do think it's little things like that thing that tells you exactly what number you are burning in the moment. It gets in your head, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. You need I don't think people are very well educated on how resistance training actually works in terms of burning calories.
Yeah, I guess that is a point. Especially so when obviously was doing my certification, you do a thing called the METS, the METS, and you identify the calories burnt during X amount of time through different exercise. So it comes down to everything. It's not just obviously weight training. They do things like hiking with a bag, hiking in wind. So everything is calculated and it's burnt. It's the metabolic rate of your body through that process. Even that is not considered. So when you were fine-tuning and you're really working with someone at a high athletic status, that's when you would add that into their calories, so you make sure everything is right. Yeah. So you would work out this Olympian is doing this, and this, so we need to factor it all in. Whereas general Joe public will climb a mountain once.
Yeah.
in the whole life. So it's almost an irrelevant factor.
Yeah.
And that's how we kind of need to see it with their exercise. Just know that you went and trained, or just know that you went resistance trained, and just make sure that you do that regularly. Don't have to be like, oh, well, last session I did 460, and this session I did 520, because then people get into the obsession of going, well, I've got the additional 60 calories somewhere now, so then try and eat towards their usage, when really it's a factor you don't really take on board.
No, with your training for progression, the secret is just keep turning up.
Yeah. Progression will come anyway, won't it?
Yeah, put as much effort as you can in the moment, but just keep going.
Yeah.
And that is the secret in it.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter how well you recorded your progressive overload for 6 months. If you stopped, you're no longer progressing. You've come to a standstill.
Yeah, it's that same thing in it where the person who I'm not going to be able to fit 2 hours in today, so I'm not going to go. But that person who's turned up every day just for 45 minutes. Yeah. They're going to beat you just because they keep going.
Again, that's the illusion of not being able to do what people assume is right. So they won't do it. Yeah. And you're like, well, even if you did 10 minutes, you did more than you were going to.
Yeah, I can only do half, so I'd rather do none at all.
Yeah. And anything is better than nothing.
Yeah, that's the same thing with diet, innit? Like, well, I sniffed that biscuit now, so I may as well go get a cake.
Yeah, that's the fuck it button.
Yeah, you can just go to Tesco and just buy a cake and eat it, can't you? Nobody can stop you.
Yeah, there's no one going to say, have you breached your calorie total today?
Oh my God, there's butter in that sandwich. You'd be like, that's this week written off.
Yeah, you get your knife out and start scraping it out. Deconstruct the sandwich. Yeah. I think we're going to have to wrap up anyway, because I need to go to the toilet.
No, I need a wee really, really bad.
Thank you to Podcast Rentals for having us.
It's banging
and the lads. Yeah, really good rooms. Hopefully it improves our quality, because normally, like I said before, we're recording on a microphone sellotaped to the window.